I'm Richard Porter, and this is Neutral Zone.
Hi, Richard. Welcome to Neutral Zone.
Hi.
Thanks for giving up your lunchtime on a Wednesday
It's my pleasure.
in your beautiful new clinic.
I'm glad you like it. It's your second time here.
It is. We've only met briefly, maybe twice.
Yeah, Manchester for the charity event.
Yes, a lecture, and then...
Your lecture was excellent.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Don't take it the wrong way.
No.
You never know what you're going to learn when you go to any sort of conference. I remember sitting there thinking, I wish I had a pen and paper to take notes on what you were talking about.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Big compliment. I think I was talking about habit stacking.
You were talking about habit stacking and you had your stones and the bondability hierarchy, stuff we teach as well. But just the way you presented it was so nice and linear.
Thank you.
And when you're doing education, you've got to try and take away anxiety. I think the flip side of education is when people try and give you anxiety, they try and give you FOMO, like, look at what I can do, look what I've got, look what you haven't.
Yeah.
And I thought your lecture was very much, this is what I do and this is where you can buy it from. And you could, if you like this idea, you can...
Take away and use it.
Yeah, and you can use it. Yeah, it's giving value.
Oh, thank you.
That's right.
Yeah, the clinic is gorgeous.
Thanks.
The number of details. The living clay on the walls.
Do you know, and the circadian lighting. There are a few things that I contributed to that. The architectural team and my business partner, Raheel, are the kings of detail. So I'm swept along on the majesty of the architectural design. Ying and Nick, who designed it, our architects are...
That's right. Last time I was here, you were choosing pebbles, or they were choosing pebbles upstairs. They were choosing the pebbles. I would be pebble-free in my opinions, but they've chosen beautiful pebbles. We'll go and have a look at them. They have. Yeah, it is lovely. It's a nice place to be. Yeah. Richard, one of the first questions I ask everyone is, how much of your identity do you think is tied to being a dentist?
I mean, the answer is a lot. But within that role as a dentist, you've got different roles. So it might be patient provider, it might be practice principal, it might be educator, it might be staff mentor. And within that role as a dentist, I think you will have different bits that identify and resonate and make you feel like you're contributing more within that. Mm-hmm. If you work as much as I'm sure you do, I think I know you do, and I tend to, it's foolish to say it's not part of your identity. It hasn't sort of formed a big part of your identity. Mm-hmm. And it is, and how I feel about myself, it is absolutely integral to that. So a big, big chunk of who I am is my professional life, without
Richard
doubt.
The dentist.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Who are you if you're not being that role, if you're not a dentist?
So... I'm not trying to restructure your question, but I guess it's what part of my job do I find most fulfilling? And my passion is to help people flourish. Mm-hmm. And the place where we've curated that down the most is within the realm of dentistry. So seeing dentists who are already flourishing and helping them grow more, to people who are struggling, people who are considering leaving the profession, and putting them in a position where they can choose a path that feels beautiful to walk down. That probably means more to me than anything. A lot of my career was, as you probably know, was in a hospital. I just saw a lady from the hospital this morning, actually, who is an NHS patient and can't get any help anywhere, and I just agreed to see her free of charge. And seeing patients like that who have had big cancer resections, and their quality of life is in the gutter, and you can build them back up. I love that as well.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not indulgent. I hope it is. I'm trying to work out in my own head. It's not just because it's like really hard and look at me, I can do it. But it's actually, you do it to get to see someone flourish.
Yeah.
And get their life back.
So it goes beyond the dentistry
definitely.
technical bit.
Yeah, dentistry is a vessel, isn't it? It's like if you give someone an amazing smile or they're in pain, you take their pain away. It's an incredible thing. If you look, and there's evidence to back this up, if you look at somebody's circulating cortisol level, their stress hormone, and their inflammatory status, and you do your beautiful work, Fran, and give them a better smile, you can measure their bloods, and you can measure their stress levels and the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, and it drops.
Wow.
They flourish more because of what we do, and
powerful.
For dentistry, it's amazing. People think that you think you're drilling and filling. You're not. You're really, really making a difference to someone's life.
I like when somebody's terrified and then they actually come and fall asleep in your lap.
Yeah.
I like that.
Do you?
Yeah.
That brings you satisfaction?
Yeah, I just think you've managed to, it's hard to make someone less anxious about anything. But then and I think you have to surrender as a patient. And then if you've managed to do that, you've made somebody trust you who was terrified. I
agree with you.
I think that's a big plus.
I mean, that's a segue to some of the things we were talking about before we came on camera, but because what you just said there, I think is really important. It's you. It's not the profession. It's not your equipment. They've connected with you and you have then put them in that state of relaxation. That's the magic.
And that's what the podcast's about.
Is it?
Well,
that's what we're here.
The people behind the drill.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because dentists do get dehumanized a bit, don't they? You know, like...
Yeah, everyone hates us as well.
And you get told you hate it. But I have this joke, a million people have heard it already, but you've probably had it too, is where you're at work and the next patient walks in, you've never seen them, they look in and go, I hate the dentist. I'll do it on camera, I hate the dentist. And I always say, can you imagine going to Sainsbury's and you buy your loaf of bread and you go, I hate checkout staff. You know, security come and kick you out. Whereas we take it on the chin. You go, I'm so sorry.
Or like you're on a train and they have posters everywhere now, don't they? Even on the bus, and it says, we will not accept harassment of our staff.
For sure.
Or even in Space NK the other day, I saw it behind the checkout and you think, who is mad in Space NK?
Everyone's. Do you know, I was getting on the tube yesterday and there was a lady who'd been sort of preaching very vocally outside the tube, and they shut Oxford Circus tube when the stairwell was absolutely full. And the chap was at the bottom saying, could you back up, please? And she started hitting people on the head with her banner. These people were just getting randomly, and I just thought...
A banner that says, be nice.
Yeah, exactly. Be kind to everyone. And you think, welcome to London. Welcome to London. But it's interesting, Fran, that I'm sorry, I know you're not...
Yeah, you're interviewing me.
Yeah, I am a little bit now. But that's the one thing you said, it brings you satisfaction to change someone's sort of emotional state. And that's obviously landing points with you. It's landing home as significant.
I think as well, when you've done the job for a while and you're always going to be challenged by certain clinical bits, but when you've got a grasp on the clinical, the job is much more of like a conveyor belt of things. So you're almost looking for a wider meaning to what you're doing once you've got that bit sorted, I think.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for growth. And like when you're a dental student, you learn like Krebs cycle, which is a stupid thing to have on the curriculum, by the way. Yeah. And you learn about the sphenoid bone. And in dentistry, if you ever see the sphenoid bone, you've gone too deep down that margin. But you go through your growth, don't you? And you have to achieve your exams, and then you do your foundation year, and you achieve something, and the growth is always there. But you're right, when you reach a level clinically, and you think, okay, this is not causing me anxiety now. I can do this. I've got my systems.
Yeah.
Then your mind does cast its net further out, and you think, well, what else can I grow? How can I grow?
Yeah,
what can I become?
A long career. Can't just be all about drilling and filling.
Do you know? I think the human-to-human connection for me is easily the most important thing, because you'll never tire of that, and I hope you never tire of it. And so it is helping the person. It is. And I don't mean the teeth, I mean the person who happens to own the teeth or the mouth. It is that connection. And that will never get dull. You know, humans are fundamentally social creatures. Not just social creatures, but we're social creatures that we do not do well on our own. Like, it's really not good for us. Loneliness and isolation is evolutionarily used to mean dead.
And that is dentistry most of the time.
Yeah.
In a room like this big on your own, maybe a lot smaller in some London practices actually. Maybe with a nurse that you get on with, maybe with a nurse that doesn't get on with you.
Yeah, and maybe a nurse is a stranger to you.
Yeah.
And you're relying on.
And it changes every day.
Yeah, and a locum,
No lateral light. And then dealing with patients that hate you or are very nervous.
We're really selling the profession here.
Painting the worst case scenario. But it can be very isolating.
And you can then think, I'm required to do to a given standard something I don't think I'm actually that good at. Like, if I'm talking about comfort with competence, I would say to any delegate, would you write your name on a piece of paper and have Fran watch you do it? And she's got her camera on and 30 other dentists watching you. Would you write your name on a piece of paper? And they say, yeah, I would do that. Okay, would you do molar endo with 50 dentists watching you? You may not. And the only difference is you don't have the confidence in the outcome.
Yeah.
Now, if you're doing that day in, day out, on people, and particularly if you have that big sense of responsibility, that's a stress. So giving people comfort and confidence with their competencies is really important, because at least then you can take that anxiety away. I'm always wondering, I ask everyone, how often do you get Sunday night syndrome? Like who starts thinking, right?
Sunday scaries.
Yeah, Sunday scaries, that's a better name for it. Thanks.
You can have that one.
Thanks.
It's not mine.
Thanks. I'm taking notes here again. I'm taking notes when Fran speaks. And and they can creep in. They can creep in on Sunday morning. And you get people to open up about it. And they say, yeah, I do. I'm worried.
I've definitely had that.
So have I.
Earlier on in the in the career.
Yeah, it's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling thinking you're required to do something clinically and you're not entirely sure how. So there's doubt.
And a horrible feeling that you've done all the degree, and so, on paper you've got it. That's your job then for the rest of your life if you're not going to change. And yet you're still nervous on a Sunday, like going to school.
Yeah, and we'll see if you agree with this, Fran. And, some of the other competencies I think people need are, I'm not trying to drag our conversation to connection straight away, but if I ask a group of dentists, put your hand up if you've met a patient you really, really don't like, maybe even hate, it's every dentist. And then I will say to them, and put your hand up if it was their teeth or their personality, and it's always personality.
Oh, 100%.
It's never the teeth. And, if there's a problem with the teeth, you can refer it to you, and you can refer it to a specialist or a friend, you can get help. But dealing with a person, and I don't see that on the curriculum. I don't see people being taught that.
We had quite a big communications module. I did my degree at Sheffield. And I think we were one of the first batches. I'm not sure what it's like now, but I remember maybe it was useful and we didn't know we had it and others didn't, but we'd be put in scenarios where one's the patient, one's the dentist opposite each other like this.
Yeah.
And there'd be a script or someone, you'd be like, right, you're an angry patient, be angry at Fran, and you'd have to.
That's very hard.
Or this is a procedure they don't understand, keep going.
Okay.
And I think that maybe was more helpful than I realised.
Do you think it moves the needle then on your communication skills?
Do you know what? I don't think anything, well, maybe that's a big statement. I was going to say, I don't think anything prepares you till you're there.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's an infinite skill. And I think it's something that should be highlighted as foundational to the outcome of your career and how you feel about your job. I think it should be elevated to that status. I think that's what the ancient philosophy and every philosophy since has taught us. It is your ability to see as well as you possibly can into the minds and hearts of the people you're dealing with and understand them. And if you can do that, you can at least have agency. You can at least connect if you choose to connect, or withdraw if you want to withdraw. But you have to understand the fundamentals of human thinking to be able to do that.
So like psychology and empathy together?
Yeah. Psychology is the big title. Like, why does a human think and feel how they think and feel? Where does it come from? And then when you're dealing with the human mind, we have to work with models. It's infinite, and so you have to use a model. And the models are pretty good. I mean, they're probably impossibly naive for the vast complexity of humanity, but they work.
Yeah.
They're reproducible, they're demonstrable, and they're very effective. And I think some of those models should be taught. And then once you look at the models, understand the skills you can use to deploy them. I mean, I do teach this. It's one of the most enjoyable things to teach.
So your kind of working week now, Richard, is more teaching than clinical?
It's a mixture, because it was 50-50 until I left the NHS. I was a restorative consultant for the better part of 20 years. And a lot of that was teaching embedded into that role, masters of it clinically, and then I'd probably have 2 days teaching, specifically just teaching.
Okay.
And then that has shifted a little bit. But what we've done here, the big thing we wanted in the centre was to integrate live clinical encounters into the teaching. So there's a lot of crossover there now.
Yeah.
And that means I can see a patient upstairs and I can do everything, including all the audio in crystal clear clarity and all of the clinical procedures. And that can be watched live, on site, on a big cinema screen or transmitted anywhere around the world. So it's trying to combine those two. So when you talk about communication, like I would love you to pick your worst ever patient, put them in my chair and let's have a discussion. And then you can pick it apart afterwards and think, well, what's the real motivation here? Where's that coming from? What are those unspoken words? What does that body language tell you? You know, because I'll just tell you now, and I'm not watching you.
No, I can tell you are.
Your body is speaking all of the time.
Yeah, and non-verbal is massive, isn't it?
It definitely is. I'm just going to do a quick qualifier. People say it's body language first, then tone, and then words, and that's true. But that doesn't mean your words don't matter. They're about 7% of communication.
Okay.
Unless you're just texting, then they become 100%. If it's just a letter, then it's 100%. But body language it predates our evolution of language. So you and I had to be able to communicate non-verbally and survive as a species before we evolved language. So yeah, it's massively effective. And there's some of the studies are hilarious on predictive outcomes from body language tells.
I mean, you see patients come in, don't you? And you go out to, I had a guy actually yesterday and he was squeezed in. I know him quite well. I went out and I was like, oh, hi, come in. And I looked at him, I said, you're in pain, aren't you?
Yeah.
He's like, you have no idea. And you could see his eyes were just in pain. And he didn't say anything.
No, and didn't need to.
Yeah.
And the fact
maybe because I know him already a little bit as well.
Well, maybe, familiarity tells, like your subconscious mind is looking at familiarity amongst people you know and reading them, far, far more effectively. But there are universal body language signals that we can pick up. You can walk into a room and feel tension.
Yeah.
And you can see someone who's angry before they've even come near you. We're phenomenal threat detectors when we stop listening to words and we actually pay attention to our what we're actually seeing, what our mind is seeing. We're very, very good at it. And we can tell when someone is at ease, when someone's being honest. We're good at it, and that's the fundamentals of communication. Like,
do you teach this here then?
Yeah. Yeah.
How?
So it takes a while, but first of all, you have to understand there are skills. There are skills, and the skills are pretty infinite. Like you can develop the skills. Like you can play the piano. So I could play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or you can play Liszt's Piano Concerto No. 2, Hungarian, whatever. You can go as far as you like with communication skills, and that's why I love it so much, because you never stop being a student.
Yeah.
If you teach the fundamentals of human psychology, which we all have, they're all the same in almost everyone, with small variations that make us individual, unique people. Then if you understand that, then you can deploy it. So the philosophy behind it is, I would say to you, Fran, you are on a journey of self-discovery, and you will be until your last hour of life, and so am I. And you're never going to fully know yourself, and neither am I. We're going to find out about ourselves on this journey. But it is unbelievably connecting and engaging if I stop finding out about myself and I just ask you about your journey and prove to you I'm curious about how you are, how you're feeling. So the fundamentals of communication are curiosity. It starts with curiosity. And if you're my patient, if I'm teaching this, I will demand that you prove you're deeply curious about the person in front of you. And if you demand it, you'll see it, because I'll be focused on you. And I'll expand one little thing. So when someone is stressed or feeling threatened, their blink rate will go up. So let my fake blink rate go up, and I start doing this during the interview, and you will know I'm slightly uncomfortable. The opposite with a blink rate dropping down isn't that you blink slower. You blink slow when you're focused.
Yeah.
So I'm not analysing you. Don't take it the wrong way. But your blink rate has almost gone down to 3 a minute. Like you're really focused on this
I'm
conversation.
Concentrating.
So but your subconscious mind sees it, and all we will do occasionally is just say, like, your body language tells are always there. Like, let me give your listeners a challenge. Look through your phone and look at your last selfie and see if in your selfie you do this. Okay? See if you've tilted your head to the left or the right and exposed your carotid artery for the photo. what message? So a photo is a message.
Yeah.
It's a signal. Any photo you've ever seen of anyone, they are saying, this is the signal I want you to notice about me.
Yeah.
And your subconscious, your subconscious, and people say my subconscious is in control. Okay, well, you tell me what you're going to dream about 3 nights from now, or you tell me if your subconscious is going to do it. And if you grind your teeth, you tell me you're choosing to do that, or your subconscious is making you do that. Your subconscious is in control, and the photo comes, and you go like this in the picture. Have you got your phone, Fran? Should I have a look?
I genuinely don't take selfies.
No, so. Good. Well, not good. People can take selfies, but it's a very common thing for people to tilt their head in a selfie. And that is exposing an artery. And you're exposing a big artery, you're exposing your carotid, and you're saying, I'm no threat. It's a no threat signal.
That's so interesting.
So body language, you can teach to infinite level, and I love to get people engaged in this. And then we teach tone. So there's different tonalities. There are different tonalities. I hate the dentist. I hate the dentist. I hate the dentist. There's tonalities to everything you can say.
Yeah.
And then you have the words that go with it. And we teach all of those. We teach body, words, and tone. So that you can convince the patient you're trying to see where they are on their journey. And for that tiny moment, the curated journey of their life whilst they're in the dental practice, whilst they're in your chair. And if you're committed to seeing them and understanding them, how that communication is it's more important than anything else. It's almost been proven. Daniel Kahneman talks about, he was the first psychologist to win the Nobel Prize in economics for money. So a psychologist winning the Nobel Prize in money. And it was, people would rather do business with someone they like and trust than someone they don't, even if the person they like and trust is less able to do the job and is more expensive. So in dental terms, that is patients like dentists who they like and trust and would rather have dentistry with them, even if they're crap at dentistry, are more expensive. That's a Nobel Prize. So it's hard to argue against. So it's proving you're trying to connect, if that's the right thing to do so.
Yeah, and I can see that completely, because if they're comfortable, that's all they care about.
Yeah, if they fall asleep in your chair.
Yeah.
It's like,
can pay for a nap.
Watch my body language. That's how comfortable I am.
Expensive nap.
So when that happens, do they sit up and go, expensive nap, no doubt. Do they sit up and go, I can't believe I fell asleep?
It's interesting. It's kind of 50-50. Some of them are in denial.
Really?
And they'll say, my nurse is quite fun. At the moment, she'll deliberately say, oh, you had a little cat nap then? And some of them are like, I did not fall asleep. She's like, well, you were snoring.
Seriously? Are you seriously? So your nurse is like the judge and jury here. You were definitely asleep.
I don't know if I dare do it. Like, oh, you fell asleep.
Yeah.
But it's quite nice coming from her. Otherwise, people are just like, oh, I can't believe I fell asleep.
Yeah, it's lovely though.
Especially when I always give this pre-chat before I'm putting rubber dam on. And, a lot of them, if they haven't had it before, you are putting something on. It's very claustrophobic. Or if you're not warning them, you're coming at them with something over their mouth. And I talk about surrendering and just like, you're safe and blah, you can do all of these things with it on. And it's amazing at the end when they weren't sure and they're like, I love that thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's very interesting, but it's a barrier between what we're doing. And I always say to them, unfortunately, modern life is so busy that this is a forced rest.
It is.
The dentist, even
and
with the
dark glasses.
Dark glasses, and usually I say bring your headphones, listen to something else once it's on.
And because it's like that mini nap you sometimes get when you're lying in the garden or you're watching TV and you just nod off and you think, oh my God, that was so peaceful. How did that happen? And yeah, with that, and if you can generate that in the environment.
I read somewhere it also is when you don't move your body for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why you fall asleep in a car or a train or like you say.
100%.
Because your brain just thinks, I can't do anything, so I may as well fall asleep.
Yeah, I love that. What a lovely... How do we make our brains do nothing? I need some of that. I'm going to give myself some caries to book in with you.
And then like the weighted blanket and things.
Yeah.
Similar thing.
Well, and if you think of a baby, they get wrapped. They're like swaddled, aren't they? When they're first born, they're like this and there's like out. So maybe that circuitry is still in us.
Yeah, someone said that's why you fall asleep in the cinema.
Yeah.
Just like going back in the womb.
Wow. Wow. Depends what you're watching.
You're cozy and got a drink and a snack and it's dark.
Could be. And certainly the dark glasses, I think, do it.
Yeah.
And then the sense of trust and you're lying down, you're supine. And for me, the rubber dam, I think it externalizes the teeth. Like, because we work inside a human orifice. And, it's a multifunctional orifice. But you it's like the teeth are out.
Yeah, I'll always show them. Some people decline to see anything, don't they? But show them in the mirror and like, look, all I'm doing is working on those few teeth now.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you can see the contrast, and I think they get it.
Do you think maybe it's also, this is just an idea, that they know their airway is not being challenged as well? Because when there's loose things in your mouth and, and the rubber dam with a beautiful seal, we're really selling the rubber dam here.
Yeah, this wasn't intentional. No, I talk about safety with it, yeah.
Okay.
I always say I'm pretty sure this will become mandatory with time.
Yeah. I love a bit of history. Sanford Barnum.
Oh, really? I didn't know the name of the guy. I know it's like 1800.
Yeah, 1854.
Yeah.
At the California Dental Association meeting. And he did it with a napkin. So he had a napkin like you get and he cut the corner off. And he said, if I get a cloth napkin, I push it over the tooth, I get much better dryness. And that was where it sort of started. Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
It is. I can imagine making something like that for mechanical, just a little kind of cotton wool ring.
There's a little hole. That's all it was. And we kind of do it now just with a clamp and some non-latex. I think Martin Kelleher taught me that a long time ago. Oh. Yeah, crazy.
So when you're doing all of this teaching, you must come across dentists who are struggling.
Yeah.
What do you think, are there any kind of patterns on the ones that are struggling or the ones that seem to be thriving? Are there kind of any similarities?
Yeah, that's broad, Fran. So I think it can start at the beginning. I think some people go into dentistry because they're made to. I think they're made to, through parental pressures and family pressures and stuff like that. And if you're walking down a path you don't want to walk down, and it's quite a hard path, it feels brutal. If you're walking down a path you really, really want to walk down, obstacles are just fun things to overcome. And that's a big, big difference. One of them is free motivation. It's just fun and enjoyable and you lean into it. And the other one, you're having to rely on willpower. And if you're relying on willpower, it is finite. And you will then have more disposition to work in an easier environment or an environment where you challenge yourself less and you might cut corners. And so there are personality characteristics as well where you can measure in people, which are things like hard work and attention to detail, which are normally distributed in human psychology. And if somebody isn't in attention to detail and finds hard work, which you measure by how many tasks do you start but also complete, not how many you start, but how many do you complete. So like you set up a podcast and you are recording episodes, you've completed those tasks. And then people said, I must do a podcast. And I said, well, how many episodes have you done? It's 0. So if you have someone who's attention to detail orientated, walking a path they want to walk and has the hard work built into them, like their conscientiousness is the personality characteristic, we call it. And it's made up of industriousness and orderliness. If you have those things, then those people tend to do well, as long as they can connect with patients. If you can't connect, you don't like your job, you're struggling with it. And we've had people turn up on the course, Fran, and say, like, I've got 2 GDC cases at the moment, I had 4 last year, I'm really struggling. I'm here for you to wave your magic wand. Literally, I've heard those words. Just wave your magic wand and fix it for me.
Oh.
And I can say, well, I can teach you technical dentistry and I can try and teach you psychology, but you're going to need a journey of self-discovery to see if this aligns with who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
And I always say to people, if you're doing it just for money, I promise you, go and work in the markets, go and work in the broking. Go and broker commodities. Yeah, go and work at Goldman Sachs.
There's easier ways to make money.
And big money.
Yeah.
You might sell your practice for 10 million quid or something, but I know people get that as an annual. They get it as an annual bonus.
Yeah.
When they were 28 years old.
Especially London.
Yeah, less so now, but they all seem to be comfortable. The guys I was at school with who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people do struggle. I think the thing they struggle with most is, it comes back to them getting an environment where they're pressured to compromise on time. Maybe we should do a little thing. I say to you, so if you're not my student, Fran, you don't need to learn anything from me, but I would say, when you do a consultation, how long do you want? And I didn't say get.
Patient.
I didn't say get or need. How long do you want? And that's the key. And other people will say, well, actually, if I really would like an hour. I want an hour. And then we'll say, well, how long do you get? And they'll say, well, 15 minutes. Okay, well, that's tough because you're not getting what you want and you've got to want to be there. And then you can get into difficult habits and, are you squaring off your admin cleanly every day? Are you getting your notes done? Are you reporting on every radiograph? Are you doing all your attention to detail? Have you got the equipment you want? Have you got your Carey's die?
Yeah.
Or are you guessing? And how does that feel? And I think it's all those moments and experiences that can accumulate in people, and it starts to feed into their concept of themselves. And then they don't like having that identity tied into being a dentist. And I get it. And we see that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's like, I'm just thinking back to some of the worst jobs I've had. And
what's the worst?
It's probably exactly what you're saying. When you're being encouraged down a path of doing it a way that doesn't align to who you are.
Yeah, 100% that.
So every day you're lying to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can be quite subtle.
Because it can creep.
Yeah, creep in.
Was that working in practice?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, talked about this on another podcast very briefly, but I've walked out of a couple of jobs and people were shocked at listening to it as if, I don't know. The way I see it is that your self-employed protects you as well as the practice.
Yeah.
And if something's not working for you, the same way that it's not working for a practice, and if things are actually wrong and incorrect with it not being there, that is your way of getting out.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's actually better than being employed in that respect.
Yeah.
But there was probably can't say things for legal reasons, but there was a practice I worked for that was the first of their kind in the UK. And it wasn't quite open, so it was due to be open. So I was there at the start. No medical emergencies box.
Yeah.
There were salespeople employed as treatment coordinators who'd been selling kitchens and cars the week before.
Wow.
Taking OPGs.
Wow.
And then with marker pens putting where implants would go.
Wow.
And no one had even asked me if I did implants. Now this seems quite extreme, but the way it was sold to me was that I was going to have a salary plus what private income I had, a proportion. So it was very appealing because I was trying to get, pursue my career. It is. Yeah. It felt like a good in-between going from NHS to private.
Yeah.
And I kept raising these things and I was being filmed because I was apparently going against company policy, speaking out. And in the end, you just have to almost hold your own and just keep remembering that, no, this is not okay.
Because that was just, you must comply.
Yes, you must comply. They wanted me to see there'd be patients in multiple rooms and I'd go between, so numb someone up. And it was just a lot.
Did this go on for long? Were you there long? 6
weeks.
Wow.
I didn't see very many patients in that time either, but I had a salary, so I was giving time and thinking, then it's just like they employed someone eventually to try and help them get up to CQC standards, that kind of thing.
You're supposed to do that before you open.
Yeah. But I remember them saying, there's a patient out there. I was like, we can't see anyone. There's no medical emergencies box. And they said, well, he's not going to have a heart attack. That's not how it works.
He might do.
It's not there because everyone's going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
It's just a necessity. But yeah, I took my little suitcase and I have so much stuff of my own on a really early in the morning, just as reception pulled up, just didn't say a word, just took all my stuff and left.
Wow.
I had to block every number and just emailed head office.
Oh my God, this is like proper.
Yeah, because I felt very intimidated at the same time. And I think I was a lot younger. I wouldn't have lasted 6 weeks now.
And if I can paint a scenario or ask you a question, if it hadn't been quite so bad, but was deteriorating and they'd started paying you, do you think because I see some people get caught in the financial trap as well, like their lifestyle adjusts and the money's coming in a little bit as well. And I see it even in the NHS and people say, well, I've got this and I've kind of bought into this lifestyle. Now I'm on this hamster wheel.
I think that would make it even worse.
Yeah, I do.
Because then they've got a hold on you.
Yeah, they have. And you've got outgoings and you think, well, now I need to walk out. And you walked out.
I did.
Bond girl.
I did demand the salary for the 6 weeks. I got it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice. You're quite scary.
Just go high.
Yeah.
They can only say no, can't they? But I just wrote down every single point of the contract they'd gone against. So, I mean, these contracts exist.
Yeah. Yes, and you are relying on the system there, though.
Yeah.
And, and their integrity, because, in building this, my comparison, and I don't know if I have my naivety removed, but dealing with our profession, which is quite heavily regulated, and arguably over-regulated, or certainly has been argued in the past that we are. I'm not sure we are, because dealing with builders and contractors who are not regulated, and I promise you, if anyone watching this is married to one or knows one, you'll probably agree, it is brutal, ruthless, and cutthroat. And anyone coming into the industry with full integrity, you are not brutal, ruthless, and cutthroat enough, and you will be chewed up and spat out and bankrupt, which means it's a self-perpetuating cycle in the construction industry of we'll work alongside each other, but I am watching you. And if there's any weakness, I'll have you. And if there's anything you do, and if there's any debatable, even in this room you're in from, we've got debatable things on one cord over here, and there's a power line too close to a data cable, so we're getting sound. It's like, well, who's going to pay to have it fixed? And they're just like, well, I'm not. And it's just conflict. It's conflict all the way through. And embezzlement and theft. Not with a lot of them. Our contractors that built this are actually very good, but it's unbelievable. So I think we need, so I'm pleased you got your money, because it shows there's, despite.
It's only fair.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. It's absolutely fair.
I think sometimes as well, dentistry is an odd industry that you talk to. I have friends in other jobs and other industries, and they just think it's crazy.
In what way?
In the way that I've described, that people think that's brave walking out of that job. Like I've got friends in other positions who would just be like, well, it's not right, so you're out.
That.
It's
It's
not crazy.
Do you know, I know it's supposed to be sharing things, so I'll share something with you. I wanted to leave the NHS hospital job I was in for a number of reasons, and I don't want to speak ill of anyone, because I got to work with some wonderful people, incredible surgeons, helped so many patients. It was amazing, but it's definitely time for me to go. And I don't mean it arrogantly or boastfully, but there was a bit of me that kept me there. It was like, well, if I go, what's going to happen? Who's going to treat so-and-so? Who's going to finish this case? Who's going to be able to do this? And you realize the world will keep spinning when you walk out. You're not that important, Rich. And everything kind of just carries on. It certainly doesn't circulate around you. And I left, and I just remember thinking, it's a similar thing to what you're saying, that people walk out and they say, I'm out, I'm gone. And everything will carry on.
They'll advertise your job again.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
They will. And, I tell our delegates this with the NHS. I don't think the NHS is a particularly good employer, I'm afraid, because particularly for dentists, because they hold all of the authority but don't take any of the responsibility. Like if you have an error as a dentist, you don't go in the dock with an NHS representative by your side saying, I'm complicit in this error or this outcome. You're all on your own. And it almost traps you into it. I find it a very difficult employer from that point of view. And if you leave or you exit or you have a nervous breakdown, all they're going to say is, who's going to see the patients? Who's next? Where's the locum list? Get someone in. Yeah, I hope you're all right. Get better soon. Let us know when you're coming back. Return to work interview. Book it in. I don't find it cares. Am I being a cynic?
No, but I think you could argue that on any job, the employer in the end, they have their own needs to be met in a work capacity.
They do.
So yes, they might be sad if someone after 30 years has decided, do you know what, I don't want to work here anymore.
Yeah.
And they're not retiring, they're going somewhere else. But as soon as they've got over that day, or then it's like, okay, we need to advertise the job.
That is true.
Which is why you have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I think you're right. I miss the human touch.
Yeah.
It saddens me slightly.
Maybe I'm a bit cold.
No, I don't think you are. I think you're a realist, and I think that's true. But I will, I will die on the hill of believing humans need connection. And there's value in it.
Definitely.
And there's value in it.
I'm very lucky now to work in a practice where it definitely feels more than work, and we all get on, and there's a bigger kind of thing, and I never feel Sunday scaries going into work.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, people hearing that will, because you've just shown them it's possible. That's so nice.
I remember shadowing a lady in Sheffield who was in community dentistry before I started dental school, and she said she never dreaded going into work, and it's one of the reasons I did it.
Yeah, that's why it's such an important message. That.
And I remember thinking, wow, she never dreads work, because I grew up with people, saying, "Oh God, we've got to go to work tomorrow," and I was like, gosh, she never dreads getting in the car going to work.
Yeah,
what a lovely career.
If you can travel to work and think, I'm actually looking forward to being there. I'm excited by my day.
Yeah.
What a lovely feeling.
A privilege.
Yeah, it is a privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being gratitude plays into that as well. But your work circumstances, your concept of how you rank in terms of your ability to deliver. My most stressful work was when back in the days of doing MaxFax, and you'd be given a 24-hour on call or a whole weekend on call.
Yeah.
And you get a call from the ward and say, we think your patient's having an embolism. Can you come and manage it? And you've got BDS, maybe MFDS. And you think, well, that's going to be a challenge.
I'll try.
I remember the shape of the sphenoid bone. Is that relevant? And it's, for me, it was always the lack of competency. But if you can go to work, I would argue, if there's any business owners watching this, your biggest and best asset and your biggest liability are staff. But if you've got good staff, you should cherish them.
And happy staff.
Yeah.
Making them happy.
Well, if they're cherished, they will be. Yeah, so if you're an associate.
Valued.
If you were my staff, I would say, right, Fran, unbelievable, cash cow, really good at her job, lovely to have around. How do I make sure she never wants to leave?
Yeah.
That would be a daily thought going through my mind. I need her to see all these other jobs. People are going to poach her. She's going to go, are you mad? Do you think I'm ever leaving Aspire? Of course not.
I think a lot of practices miss that, though, that there's a focus on, we don't want them here anymore, but they're missing the elephant in the room is the ones that are there, and they don't want them to leave.
It's because they don't call them Fran, they call them a performer number. They say, this is your performer number.
I've not thought about that for a long time. I can still remember it.
Yeah, don't give me a bar. I don't want a number. Who's the person?
I'm just 430331.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's. I think all of back to your original question about what the challenges in dentistry. I think we summed it up there. It's all of those put together, and I think people can get into a pickle, and we try and help them as much as we can here.
What's your advice to them then, if they're struggling?
So everything starts with know yourself. Everything starts to know yourself, and if you want to know yourself, you should know all of yourself. Not just the bits you want to see, but the bits you don't want to see and the bits you don't like to show.
Yeah.
And that is an inward journey that lasts forever, but know what your motivations were. So you're going to have some realistic goals in life. And if you haven't got a goal, so the way I teach it is this, is imagine you have an infinite load of directions. You're in a sphere and you can go in any direction. You only find out if the direction you're walking along the path is meaningful and pleasant to you and pleasing and joyful once you started walking it. And if it's not, then it doesn't feel fulfilling. So life doesn't feel fulfilling. Sunday night scaries. If you have got some curated direction, so let's say we just make it a circle, like a compass, and I can say, well, I don't want any of these directions. I don't want any of that, but I like that sort of range, this 30-degree range. At least we can curate the direction you want. And is that family? Is it money? Is it working week? Is it freedom? Is it opportunity? Is it security?
Yeah,
is
what's
it time?
important to you?
Yeah. And really do the work. And we call that a future authoring exercise. So we'll ask everyone to do a future authoring exercise, and you'd have to go into your own head and think, what? And one of the questions, for example, I would give to you, Fran, is like 2 years from now, describe to me your average Tuesday. Okay, who are you with? How often do you see, let's pick, for example, your mum. Do you get to take her for lunch as much as you want and spend time with her? And if that's important to you, we're going to book it on a Tuesday and we're going to create that life. And once you've got direction for that, life feels...
Yeah, vision to work towards.
And then your future... So how you feel in the moment, believe it or not, this is another psycho. I'm not trying to do a psychology.
No.
How you feel in the moment has very little to do with your past. It's a lie, like my past traumas and stuff like that. It's your brain predicting your future.
based on patterns it already knows?
Well, so it's based on memories.
Okay.
It is based on memories and experiences and the emotions we attach to them. But if I example it in an extreme way, imagine your past has been full of security, opportunity, freedom, love, everything you wanted, and you had abundance and wealth, and you've lost it all, everything. You're now living in a skip, eating old crisps out of a discarded packet, and you're cold and alone and unloved. Don't tell me your past makes you feel different in the future.
Yeah, that's very true.
Flip it around. You've had a terrible past. You were alone. You struggled for money. Food wasn't abundant. You lived in a very impoverished way, and now that's gone, and you have love, Fran, you have abundance, you have freedom, security. How do you feel in the moment? You feel good. Your brain is a prediction machine, and it's taking everything that's happened and everything you know and everything you're connected with and making predictions for your future, and it will give you feelings, those feelings in the moment. And that's how we experience life. We think it's our past. It's not. Your brain is fundamentally a prediction machine, and it's predicting things. And if we can predict a better future, we feel great in the moment. So we try and future author people and align their values.
Make them think what they do want.
Find out what's in their heart with their values, connect it with their goals, and if they're aligned, move them forward. You've got to have the values and you've got to have your goals and have them aligned. And if they're not aligned, like if your goals are money and your values are something completely different, which is like free time and creativity, it's gonna be difficult to
quit and be an artist.
Yeah, well, exactly. Look, beautiful. You don't even need it. That's the exact thing you have to do.
If money was no option,
I
always think if I wasn't going to go down a route that I needed income, one of the driving reasons I went to university was to make sure I had a better income than I grew up with.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't have done dentistry. I would have gone and been an artist or gone and done French, and because
do your listeners know you're an incredible artist? I'm going to embarrass you. I'm talking to them now, not you. You're amazing. I love looking at your work.
It's a privilege, I think, to go and do something without the money being there.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the financial trap.
Yeah.
That is the financial trap. And if money's no object, what would you do?
Maybe if this whole thing that's coming in that Elon says is coming in, I might be an artist. The minimum income's coming in, or
Yeah, I don't know.
He's saying don't save for retirement because by the time we get there, there'll be no need.
Do you know, it's hard to bet against him. And you hit 1 trillion and you send these rockets into space, it's hard to bet against him. But it's very interesting. I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
I know in this country we can't afford our pension debt, so we're in trouble with that. So I hope he's right in a way. Otherwise, we're going to be working to work. 86.
Have you ever been in a part of your career where you thought, do you know what, I'm struggling, and you've...
Oh, for sure.
Yeah?
Oh, God, definitely. Do you know, I won't mention names, but I'm blessed with some of the people I've come across. And I don't think I'm alone in thinking I got to where I got to in no small part by some elements of luck. Like I think most dentists I speak to say, you know, I got lucky. And that's not imposter syndrome, but like meeting you was luck.
Oh.
You know, it is. I feel lucky. And now it's led to me talking to you here and having this experience. And you can I've picked up things from people which feel lucky to me that have either pulled me through or have shown me a way that resonates with my values, a value that was uncovered in my heart. Like I can remember, I won't mention them because they might see it and I don't want to embarrass them, but a couple of people where my work ethic was one way and I'd meet someone else and I could see their work ethic and it was like someone turned on a light. And I remember thinking, I love that work ethic. And then you find out that's that journey of self-discovery and you think, that's who I am. I just found a little bit about myself and it can pull you through. And the most uncomfortable times in my career are when you have a predicted outcome or a predicted experience and you're either not capable, competent, or surprised or betrayed. You know, so if you've tried to say I can do a job or a particular procedure and you can't, I find that
hard.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. And that was really in my junior days. And that's why I ran back to do postgraduate training for the rest of my life. I do remember, when I was a foundation year, It was in the very early days of UFC fighting.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't one of them, but I had a patient who was. And he's a lovely, kind guy, like a lethal weapon. And it was, I hope you don't mind me indulging in the story.
No.
And and so I graduated from guys, and, I felt I was really reasonably well trained. And I was working in a practice, and I'd had to take a tooth out the day before. And when I'd been handed the forceps to deliver this now loose tooth, a crusted autoclaved cusp was on the beaks of the forceps from a previous patient. That was where I was working. And in this situation, this guy had caries that went into the pulp in his lower right six. And I said to my nurse, could I have the rubber dam and the file systems? I need to extirpate this. And the answer was, what's rubber dam? And I think we've got a file.
Okay.
And so there was no rubber dam. You're asked to do endo. This is an approved foundation year practice. And they had one file for endo, which was autoclaved at the time, because it's pre-CJD. And you had to put a ring on your finger with a little chain on it and try and...
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, and extirpate. And I was trying to do this as best I could for this guy. And my endo was obviously appalling. And he developed a big fat face and had to go to hospital. And he missed his shot at the World Championships.
Oh.
And I remember thinking, right, there's about 42,000 dentists in the country, and I'm the worst.
Oh.
And I'm either going to leave or I'm going to improve.
Yeah.
And I genuinely remember thinking...
and that was VT
That was my
year.
vocational year, yeah. And everything else was fine. Like doing composites seemed fine at the time. Like managing perio communication, I was okay at. But anything where there was that level of technical expertise, which I didn't possess, I definitely didn't possess. I didn't have the experience, and we definitely didn't have the equipment. And there weren't mentors I could rely on. And I put this guy in hospital. He had to go to the John Radcliffe. And he was under Maxfax there, and he had his tooth taken out, and he was better and fine, but he missed his fight. And I remember thinking, I can't have a career of that. Mm. So I went back to hospital, and I got a job at the Royal London. And then I didn't leave for the next couple of decades.
20 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was that sense of inadequacy. I think it was that. I couldn't live with that.
Yeah. And like, outside dentistry, are you that kind of person in life as well, like driven for results? You seem to be, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I guess.
So then it is really hard when you can't perform clinically, I think.
Oh, yeah.
If you're that personality, and a lot of people are who go into these careers.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about insecurities, but most people are motivated on some level by some hidden level of subconscious insecurity. And every single person alive has this. Mm. And they're either aware of it consciously because they've done the work, or they're not aware. And the people who are not aware, the insecurities will be controlling you far, far more than being aware. And so in terms of performance, like the big insecurities people have are significance. An insecurity is something you can't create yourself and you need from other people. It's a need. Mm. So these come from a position of lack. And the big six are significance, approval, acceptance, being perceived as very bright, intellectual, conscripting pity, or being powerful, like super dominant.
So they want pity, or they
yeah.
Okay.
And they
attention.
Yeah, and they use pity to gather, which would be similar to the first one, significance. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. If you can control pity, if you generate a lot of pity, and you're a perpetual victim, it's a form of control over other people, because you can't be persecuted as a victim, and other people's behaviour has to change around you because you're the victim. So that's one thing. And I do a lot of work in psychology now, and you have to go through the journey of self-discovery. And for me, I think it's significance. I definitely like being able to perform, so I lean into difficult things and doing them live now.
Okay.
Because if I can do that live, it just feels good to do it live, because it's a challenge. And I get to prove to myself that I am who I think I am.
Oh, so it's a nervousness before that you probably don't get very much anymore. Do you feel nervous before?
I think maybe I'm kidding myself, but I've learnt to enjoy that. Mm. Like it's the same with doing physical training. If you do physical training to a level where you think, all I have is pain and I'm just going to do more, you can find yourself smiling.
Yeah. It's like when you work to exhaustion in the gym. I find that really funny.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do that at work.
You get better and better, you do. Yeah, you do. Because so in one of our development groups, we'll have everyone wear a heart rate monitor, and we'll say, okay, we have to take our heart rate up for the next 5 minutes to over 95%. And should we just go to 100? And should we just hold?
Oh, God.
And let's just bounce around 95 to 100. And you think...
I think you're smiling because it's almost like sadistic.
It is a bit sadistic, but it's like discovering yourself.
Yeah, and knowing your real limits.
Yeah. Yeah, and pushing through them. So if you don't ask me questions, Fran, I'm going to keep talking. That's a problem.
Keep talking. This is what makes my job easy.
So there's a personality characteristic, and it has the name neuroticism, but what it means, so the personality model we tend to use is called the Big Five, and it's made up of openness, and your openness is astronomically high.
Really?
Without doubt. We'll do the test when you're off camera, and you're going to be like 99 out of 100. There is conscientiousness, hard work, ambition, drive. Extroversion, which is your sensitivity and propensity to experience positive emotions.
Really? Is that the definition?
Yeah, that's what extroversion is. And so
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the realm of positive emotion. So joy, fulfillment, pleasure.
So you're connection. More open to joy as an extrovert.
You find it easier to access.
That's so interesting.
And,
okay,
yeah,
I've never thought of it like that.
Your personality psychology, you could do a whole, I teach that over 12 weeks. It's an incredible subject. There's agreeableness, which is, compassion and empathy and kindness and warmth, that natural disposition. And you will know people who are just sort of, it's like being around an angel when you're just close to them. They're just massively agreeable. And then there's the realm of negative emotion, sensitivity to negative emotion. And that's called neuroticism. Now, none of your listeners have ever woken up because they're too happy with how a procedure went. You've never lost sleep because your composite was so good.
No.
But if you get the letter or the complaint,
maybe that's to come,
or the post-op sensitive, well, congratulations, you won the composite world award then.
No.
But you can worry. You can worry forever. No one treats a patient and goes home and says, I'm smiling because everything was so good today. But you can be anxious about work forever. You can worry about the patient all night. You can lose sleep and have wake-ups because you've got that. So humans are far more disposed to the N than the E, the extroversion, the positive. We're far more disposed to that. So, and it's normally distributed. Does that make sense? So we've got this normal distribution. And your neuroticism score, if it's very, very high, you experience consciously and subconsciously events that land and cause more impact and are harder to recover from at an emotional level. You can think of neuroticism as a threat sensor.
So you're feeling things deeper.
Yeah, and anticipating them more and seeing threats that might not even be there. And it's a really important facet. Now, these scores aren't fixed. They're not fixed. So the number one thing we are asked for when we teach this is someone says, look, I am on an anxiolytic. I am anxious about all sorts of stuff. And I don't know why. There's nothing. I said, what are you anxious about? I don't know. I just feel anxiety. That is someone running on a high end. And then they'll say, is there something I can do? And I said, of course there's something you can do. Of course. This isn't fixed.
What?
Yeah, you can fix it.
Thinking of people.
Yeah, well, good. Well, you can bring them here. So the same bit of your brain that tells you to worry is the same bit of your brain that says, don't get in Richard's ice baths upstairs. The same bit of your brain, because I promise you, if you want to do it after the podcast, we'll go upstairs.
No. Not today.
The same bit of your brain that says, don't do that, is the same bit of your brain that gives you the worry. And you can take conscious control of it, and you can say, this is one example, and say, I'm going to get into this horrible, life-threatening cold environment, and I'm going to breathe my way through it, and you can watch the scores drop.
So are there people that end score is so low, they're the ones that we all know them where they just seem to be attracted to danger almost? Or they're...
Yes, and they're
not looking at the danger.
Yeah, and they have unbelievable tolerance to stress, but it's the extremes of any of these scores you have to be careful. Because if your neuroticism score is like 0 or 1, that's the first diagnostics for a psychopath. Like psychopaths have unbelievable stress tolerance.
Interesting.
They have very little impulse control.
I suppose you'd have to live with what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, and psychopathy doesn't mean you want to hurt people. That's the cliche. Psychopathy is impulse control and stress tolerance. Like you have no impulse control because why would you? and you're infinitely, these people, I've worked with a couple of psychopaths. You could set the operating theatre on fire. And it's like,
I'm only laughing because I'm sure a lot of people would say the
do you know, the numbers are huge. The numbers are huge. For surgeons in the NHS, it's like close to 8%.
Really?
Can be diagnosed with psychopathy.
And what's the percent in the general public?
About 1.2.
And it's 8 in NHS
So it's about 1 in 50 people. Well, I mean, 1 in 50 people will have some form of personality disorder or characteristic. It's psychopathy, which is impulse control and unbelievable stress tolerance. Machiavellianism, which
is that?
So that it comes from Niccolo Machiavelli, a 16th century Italian politician who gave the famous question, is it better to be feared or loved? And Machiavellianism is your ability to manipulate and and using manipulation to your advantage. And that's a nice ethical question, because if you manipulate someone to be healthy, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? But in that context, it's really to your advantage and their disadvantage. That's Machiavellianism. There's narcissism, and that's a spectrum. Everyone's a little bit of a narcissist, but it's when it becomes very, very significant. And the best way to think of narcissism is you're in a movie and you are the star of the movie. And everyone else, literally everyone else, even your own children and family, are extras in the movie.
Okay.
And the movie star is the star, can't be questioned as the star, and they're the hero. And if you help the hero, you get cast in the movie and you are rewarded.
And more lines.
If you challenge the hero,
you die.
You're the baddie.
the movie.
And then the last one is sadism, which is just horrible because that's pleasure in other people's suffering.
Yeah.
And you'll often see combinations therein.
That's so interesting. It's 8% of surgeons.
Yeah, but do you know, they're not all those 4, but they have incredible stress tolerance. And you look at prisoners, they're similar. There are some sex distribution differences between these things. It's fascinating to see.
It is fascinating.
Because, dentists, there'll be dentists watching this who will see a patient walks in who's got that. And you might meet someone who enjoys it when you're upset. They might enjoy it. I mean, can you think of that? They meet a highly agreeable, warm, kind, compassionate person. And those people tend to make contracts with the world that if I'm nice, the world will be nice back, which isn't true. And then you meet a predator who finds pleasure when you're upset. It's real. I know, God, I've gone dark.
It has gone dark.
Should we talk about the Teletubbies or something? But it's real.
Are there any specific traits that are more common in dentistry?
I think we get such a spectrum of people coming through, and there's no evidence that I can pull out that I know of personality characteristics in dentistry. The 2 things you will see, so let's brighten it up, because what you can say, if you look at a combination of psychometrics in a human, which ones predict success, and can we measure that and see what the correlation is? And that's fabulous, because we can do that. So the first one is IQ. And that is equally normally distributed. And if you have got into dentistry, a STEM field degree, you're really like 115 plus. And because it's normally distributed, I say to anyone, if you don't know what to put in your gratitude diary, if you've got an IQ of 115, the flip side on the other side of the curve is 85. 15 up, because the 100 is always set as the average.
Okay.
There's as many people below 85 as there are over 115. And if you're below 85, you'll struggle to operate a till at McDonald's or a pocket calculator. So if you're at 115 and above, you should wake up every day and you were given a brain. And my God, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So IQ correlates with outcome. It doesn't correlate as highly as conscientiousness. Hard work is more predictive than IQ. But if you combine the 2, it's cumulative. So IQ correlates at about 0.25. Hard work, high conscientiousness correlates at about 0.35, and they accumulate.
Okay.
So now we're close to 0.6, which is really good correlation.
Yeah.
If you add in extroversion, Fran, you can add another 0.2. So if you are joyful, low threshold for feeling good about stuff, optimism, hardworking and bright, that's kind of the best combination you can have. Openness, which is your realm of creativity. I know the joy you get from drawing, because you smile whenever I say the word draw. You smile on the D of draw. And I'm similar. Is neutral, High neuroticism, sensitivity to negative emotion, is slightly negatively correlated. This is with income and career success. And high agreeableness is negatively correlated as well. So this isn't the perfect life, but this is
ideal
career success, bright, hardworking, and happy. Openness is irrelevant. Creativity is largely irrelevant. You don't suffer much in your head, like you're tough, mental resilience, and you're not very nice all the time. You're willing to have some boundaries. The best example of that is you're willing to walk out of a job after 6 weeks of not being happy. I think you've got it all.
Oh dear.
It's true though.
I think if anyone else had been in that job, 6 weeks is probably too long.
Maybe you're just tough.
No, it was bad.
I love it.
Let's briefly go back to connection, because we're running a bit over. How do you think people can get more connection?
So the only thing that stops us being connected to someone else is us thinking about ourselves. So move yourself out your own way. And I don't mean stare like a weirdo on the tube, but I mean stare metaphorically at the person you're looking at. So I'm not going to make it weird, but a bit weird. When I stare at you, Fran, I'm looking at your mind. I'm trying to look at your mind.
Okay.
Because it's mind-to-mind connection.
Yeah.
And you and I are our minds, and our minds live in our brains. And those brains give us emotions, feelings, and thoughts. And those emotions, feelings, and thoughts become our actions.
Yeah.
Now, you, Fran, can only know me through my actions.
Yeah.
So you can only know my mind through my actions. And I can only know your mind through yours. But what we're trying to do is a mind-to-mind connection.
Okay.
So it's understanding that my behaviors, thoughts, tone, words, movements are my only vessel for connecting with your mind, and yours and mine. And that's how you do it. So the first way to do that is to be curious about yourself and your own mind. And then once you've taken that to a certain level, be massively curious about other people's minds.
And genuine curiosity.
Yeah. You can't fake it.
Yeah.
If you fake it, they're going to feel violated.
Yeah.
Like it's faked when you meet a salesperson. They go, "Oh, how are you today?" It's like, you don't care how I am. You want my money, But if you genuinely are curious, and I think you should be curious because it might all end tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've seen enough patients at the end of life. Life is precious and short. So be curious, be massively curious. And once you're curious and you start to see it, you will innately become passionate. So that the path to any internal motivation system is curiosity, passion, purpose, autonomy, and mastery. It's a 5-step process. Start with curiosity, then become passionate about connecting with people and understanding them. And then if you can feed it into your job, it becomes purpose, then you don't need to learn to do it. You just get better at doing it on your own. And then people say to you, wow, you're so good at speaking to people. And you've hit that sort of mastery zone. But it starts with curiosity.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, if you genuinely do like people, chatting to patients isn't very hard because you're genuinely interested in the answer.
Yeah.
It's like when certain people come through the door and you just chatting and then you're like, I need to do my job.
Yeah.
Because you've clicked with them. Some people it's very hard.
Yeah, I agree. And if people are monosyllabic, but then you can see why they're not speaking to you.
Yeah.
And then remember that person, I promise, still wants connection. So all you have to do is say to them, I see you and I see why you might be speaking that way. And I fully understand it.
That's the harder type.
That's called a label. So a label is when you name how someone is feeling. And even if you get it wrong, they don't care because you're still saying, I'm curious and I'm here.
I care enough to ask.
Yeah. I'm showing you, I'm trying to tune in on how you're feeling. And it's the intent. It's not the outcome, it's the intent. And you're saying, I'm not in my way, I'm after your mind. That's all it is. That's a label. That's one of the first skills we teach. First skills we teach in communication with real skills are mirroring and labeling. And a mirror is when you will use the patient's words. So you say to me, I say, Fran, how was your day? And you say it was fine. And I would just put a tone into that and say it was fine. And you will fill that void. You'll go, yeah. And you've just heard me. Because I've used your words, I proved to you I've heard you. And if someone says, I don't like the dentist, you don't like the dentist? And they will fill the gap and give you that information.
Yeah.
At the same time, they've you've heard me. And then you can use a label. It sounds like that was an upsetting experience for you. Like you've named my feelings. My God, how much do you love me? Mirror and label. It's a beautiful set of opening skills. We teach people and we encourage people to do role play with it. and like you can send people home and send them home with skills and say, right, you're going to get in your Uber. You need to do skills 3 to 7 and 12 on your Uber driver tonight and watch what happens.
Oh, interesting.
It's incredible.
So being open really to it to connect more.
Yeah. Yes. Being open to it. Do you know, the hardest thing is convincing people that there's value in this.
Yeah.
And I think it's because everyone can communicate. They will say, but I'm all, we like to think we're good at stuff and I can speak to my mum and dad and patients seem to like me and I have an okay relationship with the receptionist. But you might be operating at a 2 out of 10 and that might be good enough. But you have no idea of the opportunities in life when you get to 3, let alone 6, let alone 8. And it's a continuous journey. So I try to convince people that connection is key. We teach dentistry too.
Yeah. Yeah, those fancy heads are for communication skills.
Yeah. And
we're the perfect patient.
We love the right bird. Oh, wouldn't it be nice? Maybe that's what we should get Elon to do next time. Maxillas, they can just drop them off.
I know. It sounds awful, but I'm sure everyone has those days where I think it'd be nice to just do it with no one.
Dentistry's fun. The dentistry's actually, it's like colouring in. It's fun. It's the thing it's attached to that all the challenges come from.
Yeah.
It is.
Should have all been technicians.
Yeah.
That looks so fun when you go and see them, doesn't it? And the radio's on, and everyone's got a cup of tea. And
bits of plaster all over them.
Nicely messy.
Yeah, little flames everywhere. It's like you're in a candlelit room. I love it. Yeah.
Let's round everything up.
Okay.
What advice would you give, or do you wish you'd received if you went right back to the beginning?
Wow.
Career.
Wow, you've absolutely floored me. What do I wish I'd been told? Invest your money. Don't waste it. Use money because you're going to have some left over and invest that in, there's a guy called Jason Greystone who talks about investment and put that aside because it will just, money, like it's not money for money's sake, but money gives you security, opportunity and freedom.
I wish I'd invested earlier, even when you're skint.
Yeah.
Even if it was tiny.
Yeah, tiny.
Yeah.
I promise, and Warren Buffett talks about it, compound interest.
Natural one.
Compound interest. And you won't get the reward straight away, but the compound interest is worth a lot. If you just push as hard as you can when you have the energy and align your values and your goals as quickly as you can. Find out who you are, find out what you're good at. Remember, a lot of people are going to try and sabotage you because a lot of people don't want you to succeed. Learn to see where that's coming from. Relentlessly follow your truth. But know your truth first of all. I wish I'd done that more instead of meandering a little bit and then thinking, do you know what? They're wrong. They're misleading me. I'm right, and push for it. Build systems for removing friction. Like the best thing that's happened to me recently is AI note creation.
One of my friends has his own business with that.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I love him. I don't, maybe I'm spending money with him already. But a little microphone like this or a simple app on your phone and any of the big engines, you can create.
Yeah. Like my boss said, it's probably saved him an hour a day minimum.
Yeah.
Massive, isn't it?
For
a working week or a year.
And the bigger the case, and everyone who's ever met a very difficult patient here will know, that's the one you've got to write the most notes on. Whereas if you just say, well, here's a full transcript, and populate the relevant notes and keep the transcript. And people say, you're allowed to do that. Well, when you discuss something with a patient, you have to write down, patient said this, I said this, patient said this. I'm just doing it for the whole conversation. So I love being able to write incredibly good notes within about 3 minutes. So nice.
Yeah.
And that gives you time. So yes.
AI notes.
Invent AI notes. I think that's the advice I would have given though, not the AI notes bit, but everything before that. Just know who you are and shamelessly pursue it with passion and enjoy it.
Oh, that's great advice.
Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for making the journey. It's so nice to see you again.
Thank you, you too.
Ice bath next time.
And in a lovely podcast studio.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Not at all.
you.